Welcome back to Talk About It, TOC Tuesdays. We have two of our trail leaders other than myself.
Hi, Jenna. You can find me on Instagram, The Muscle Mommy.
And what's good, you guys? Britt Inez Rand. Today we're talking about post-holidays because this drops December 3rd. And we just had Thanksgiving, and I wanted to talk about how to handle post-holiday gains physically and mentally, see what your guys' thoughts are, talk about favorite Thanksgiving memories, and how to rebuild yourself from rock bottom, and also why you're not progressing in the gym. So, lots to cover.
Yeah.
How would you guys handle like the post-holiday blow?
Well, I would start by staying off the scale. I think that's
That's a good one.
yeah, especially the scale can be like a mind fuck to me. Like the last thing you want to do is hop on it and then feel guilty about enjoying your loved ones, which is what Thanksgiving is all about.
I think it's a good one. That's a really good one. I would also maybe just be a little bit mindful about the holidays, with all these parties. We talked a little bit about that, So, and while you want to enjoy yourself, don't go too far off the rails because then it's like damage control afterwards.
Yeah.
Metabolism slows down, etc. So, picking and choosing.
Yeah. I think one of the biggest things is to go into each of these holiday parties with a plan, which we kind of talked about at the very end, was making sure you go in, have some protein before, take a survey of what kind of foods are there, bring your own foods, everything like that. But also just remember that the scale is going to go up just because of the sodium intake, but just because of a day, unless you're eating like 10,000 calories, you're not going to gain fat immediately.
10,000. I've always wanted to do a 10,000 calorie challenge. I want to do it. Yeah.
I've done it, and it's a 10,000 calorie day. It's so much fun.
What'd you do?
So let me tell you this. So first of all, you have to plan it out,
right?
Because otherwise you won't hit the target. So when I did it, I was like up at 4 a.m.
No.
Yeah, no, seriously, it was the thing. I got up about 4 o'clock in the morning, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna do some cardio, make some room, right, so I can get real hungry, get it good.
Uh-huh.
And then I started the first meal at like 6, and then like every 3 hours it was something else, and then I got up to like 11,000 and some change.
Okay, because like I've seen Fu, you know who Fuad is? Abiyad, all right, and he did like a 10,000 calorie, and he was like rolling on the floor, and I was like, boy, I could eat you under the table.
Right? Yeah, no, it's fun, but then the next day,
right?
Yeah.
Uh-huh. You're staying home.
Yeah, don't much. I didn't have a plan the next day. I was in my bathroom.
Yeah, I was camping out. That much.
What kind of food were you eating?
That's what I was going to ask.
I know you've done like the cereal, and not cereal, the fucking ice cream thing.
Yeah.
But like, I feel like there's certain things that could be super high in calories that are just very low volume foods that you could have gone to. But did you try to keep it like
clean?
Healthy?
Yeah.
No.
Right. Okay. I feel like it has to be dirty.
I wasn't trying to be like, make sure I eat just rice and chicken all day long.
No, because that'd be so much.
Right. So I literally ate whatever I wanted. So like really dense foods. Like if I wanted peanut butter on top of something else, I got it. Like I didn't have there was like no control.
Okay.
But what I did do was I did make sure I had protein with every meal.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's like our bodybuilder, and us we're like, you gotta. Yeah.
Yeah. But I did. Let's see. That day I did Cheesecake Factory. I did like a Grimey Bowl.
What's a Grimey Bowl?
So it's basically the concoction of deliciousness, and I have a sweet tooth.
Okay. All right.
You start there.
Ice cream.
So you take your favorite cereal, whatever it is. So cereal, your favorite ice cream, whatever it is. And then you also put in cookies.
I was going to say Oreos, peanut butter.
Yep, whatever nut butter you want, whatever kind of like cakey kind of treats that you want.
Uh-huh.
You want to put a candy bar in there, you can do that. And you get this big ass bowl, and you put everything in there, and you just eat it. And it's amazing. And then like you get a quarter of the 3/4 of the way through, and you're like, I don't know. But then you like reach a point of no return, so you got to finish it.
Right. You committed.
Yeah.
It's like going through a yellow light. You don't stop in the middle of the intersection. You got to go through it.
And yeah, it's good. It's like sugar or balloons. I will say that.
Okay.
It's like,
have you ever done an ice cream challenge or anything like that, like a food challenge in general?
I did the food challenge at the diner, Max and Louie's.
Oh, I don't know where that is.
Okay, Max and Louie's, it's over there off of 281, and their pancakes are like this big and like that thick. And so it was 3 pancakes, a waffle, 4 sausages that are like this big, eggs. I
demolished it?
No. You had 25 minutes to eat the whole thing.
Oof,
and so and I follow this guy on YouTube, and he's Man versus Meat.
Yeah.
He ate the whole thing in 12 minutes. And so he makes it look so easy. I'm like, I can do that. No, there's no damn way. I got like, I don't know, ate all the meats and got through like 2 of the 3 pancakes and like half of a waffle. Like I put in, and French toast. So I put in some, it comes out, it's like this tall, right? Right. And it's in a bowl that's like dug out. And from here, I got down to like here. So like I did some damage.
Yeah,
I did, but like.
You got timed out.
Oh yeah. There's no freaking way. No way.
I did ice cream challenges.
Okay.
I've beaten them twice. And then there's one that I just had, I could not do. We could not do it.
What was it?
It was in Walnut Creek. It was called the kitchen sink, and it was literally like in a big ass thing, like the kitchen. It looked like a kitchen sink, and it had different types of ice creams and like brownies or whatever. But that was right after my high school graduation. And then there's Leather Bees, which is like a popular Sacramento ice cream spot.
Uh-huh.
And so they have like the big Sunday challenge, and so I finished that twice, and I got home.
How do you deal with the brain freeze? Because I feel like I will be constantly like trying to push my tongue against the roof of my mouth to like not get brain freeze.
It's not like
Is it timed?
No, it's not like I was like
okay.
doing it like that. Yeah. I wasn't like sitting there and enjoying it. I was like, okay, I got to get through it, but it wasn't like
fast.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
See, I think I could easily do like these challenges, but I would just, my rule would be to stay away from cheese and dairy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, dairy in general.
Yeah.
Just because of the repercussion.
Yeah, I'm not willing to take that risk.
But that Grimey Bowl.
Girl, you gotta try it at least once. And just
like when you were
like maybe like protein ice cream.
Oh yeah, so I did like protein ice cream because I'm lactose intolerant.
Right.
So
because I feel like it's a world of pain for like 3 days.
Yeah.
Right.
So there's ways that you can kind of tweak it. I also put like what did I do? I did almond milk instead.
Right, little things.
Like little things like that.
And on that note, do not do a 10,000 challenge after the holidays.
Yeah.
Yeah, it might not be a good time to do it. It was after I competed, so like my body was, my metabolism was like
on fire.
Yeah. So I didn't.
But we're moving a lot less in the holidays, I feel like. You know what I mean? Like it's gloomy outside, it's cold, we don't want to go outside as much. So yeah. So while I enjoy a little bit of insulation for the holiday season, you know, I recognize that I'm not outside as much. So to just be like, to be mindful, to go back to what we were talking about earlier.
Yeah. And to kind of like budget your indulgences, kind of like what you were saying, like have a plan going into it. Like I always tell my girls, like if you're going to eat your calories or try and drink them, try not to do both. The holidays are a big time of year for like parties, gatherings, happy hours. So if you're combining that on top of like the holiday cookies and the pies and the leftover Halloween candy, then you're kind of like not setting yourself up to be able to even have any type of like mindfulness, especially over cravings. I feel like the more you eat that stuff, the more you're
craving it for sure. That's sugar.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And we talked about it the last time, Thanksgiving traditions and like what we do, but you weren't involved. So what are your Thanksgiving traditions if you have?
So my family over the years, we have evolved and we always now do like a non-traditional Thanksgiving. And that's because growing up, like my grandmother cooked like your traditional Thanksgiving food. Like we had that stuff year round. So it was no big thing for us. So now we're just like, okay, is it going to be seafood? Is it going to be Mexican? Is it going to be Italian? Like, what's the theme for this year? What's the vibe for this year?
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So we started that like probably in the last 5 years, and it's kind of let us look forward to it more because it's not just all the stuff that we ate growing up over and over and over again.
And we kind of actually touched on this, but another topic that I wanted to talk to you guys about is bad digestion, which after eating all of this like fat heavy food or fried foods during the holidays, which again is not bad. We don't want to demonize any of these foods because if you start like over restricting, then you
Develop, food. What am I trying to say?
you're developing a bad
Relationship with food, yeah.
So we just want to be mindful of that. But there are certain things that you guys might do if you guys have bad digestion. Do you guys want to talk about it? I know you have a trick that you just learned this year.
What's up? Oh, my citrate?
Yeah.
Oh, yes. So if you find yourself not able to go, but I feel like if you're eating a lot of like fatty foods, you're going to have no problem doing that. But if you feel like you just kind of a little backed up magnesium citrate, you can just get a bottle of it at CVS, Walmart, Target. Drink some water, and you'll go.
Yeah.
You'll go. Put it like that.
And then there's also like XX and like Senna and fiber and
using this sparingly. You don't want to get used to it. I'm big about my probiotics and fiber. My regular fiber and probiotic intake keeps everything moving in the direction it needs to.
Yes.
Which is out.
Yes. Yeah. Something that we didn't do is who is Britt? I know.
Oh yes. Who are you, Britt?
If you guys don't know, or if you aren't following me on Instagram or YouTube, what are you doing? But you would know who Britt is. But let's just talk a little bit about what you do and how you are a trail leader and everything like that, how you got involved.
Yeah. So I have my hands on a lot, but I always say the big things are I'm a fitness coach, wellness athlete, and content creator. And we connected paths a little over a year ago now. Yeah, a little
2 years.
It's been 2 years?
Yeah.
Oh, where the time goes.
Almost 2 years.
Oh, where the time goes.
Yeah.
Okay, well, 2 years now, and like we met in the gym. Like, we saw each other on Instagram, and then it was just like, I'm like, I know that girl. Here's her, but I can't remember her name. Like, I'm horrible with names. And then
she's really bad.
I'm really bad. It takes me like 5 times to associate a name to a face, but okay, I got it. I got her name now. I won't forget it. It's just bad, y'all. So forgive me. It's not me. And then I want to say we just started hanging out over the course of that time, and then we started working together on content.
Yeah.
And then that turned into us talking about like what my goals are with bodybuilding, not only just on stage but off stage, wanting to get more involved in the community here because I had recently moved back to Texas. And I was looking to build that like community here. And she was like, oh, we have Trail of Champions coming up. You should come out and just kind of like see if it's your vibe, see if you like it. I'm like, okay. And then we went to the event in Dallas last year. Yeah, last December, we went to the event in Dallas. And that was like my first time going. And I was just like, oh, this is like really dope because it just connects so many people that you don't normally see in your everyday life. You know what I mean? And we're all into like the same thing.
Yeah.
And I feel like bodybuilding can kind of feel a little isolating because
for sure
so much of your day in, day out in your head, day in and day out, just kind of thing. And just to be able to have that kind of community, I was just like, oh yeah, sign me up for that. So that turned into where we are now, and then me being a trail leader, and that's where we're at.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And so you have been to both posing events and Friday flows. The very first episode we talked very specifically of how different the two events are, and then also bringing in the third type of event, which is more of that like personal growth.
Oh yeah.
But again, reminders, Friday flows are uneducational. They are for fun, networking,
community building,
yeah,
getting like facial recognition, name recognition.
Big one. Yeah. Just being able to practice outside of your own like domain, right? Because we do our stuff like at our gym, posing studio, or at home, wherever your setup is. But just getting out in a different environment, the more you can do that, I feel it builds your confidence. It builds your skill set, and it also kind of just brings you an ability to be able to pose on different types of like flooring, which is so important for
Yep.
getting on stage.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true. It's a good
Yeah.
point.
And I do think that this kind of ties into our next topic, which is like picking yourself up from like rock bottom. And like, if you might have had, you know, these lonely times by yourself, you're going through the motions and you feel like you're not surrounding yourself with the people that you need to be better. Like, this is an opportunity to meet people that are very like-minded, something that people that are interested in what you're interested in. They can be an ear to you if you are, you know, going through this.
Yeah.
But do you guys have any like advice for people going through some hardships?
Yeah, I would say don't be afraid to be vulnerable and let someone know if you're going through something, because I feel like a lot of times we feel like no one else has gone through this. I'm the only one, and you're not the only one, but you never know it unless you open up the door to have that conversation with someone, you
Yep.
know? So find the people that you can vibe with, connect with, confide in, and don't be afraid to be like, hey, this is what I'm going through. Like, any advice? Like, have you dealt with this before? Because that to me has been a game changer in like finding my tribe.
That's a good point. I would say feel the pain. I know that's people always want to run from pain, but it's like when we're working out, like it's just pain. Like, come on, do 3 more. It's just pain. And once it's over, it's done. But I don't feel like many people give themselves like an opportunity to process it properly because they're trying to flee it, you know, with, you know, whether that's like drinking or drug use or food or whatever. Like, it's like, just sit in it. You're going to be okay, you know, but allow yourself to feel that for a moment and then pick yourself up and go out to a Friday flow and connect with like-minded people and then have that vulnerability. It's like, hey, have you been through this? That kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no.
Okay. And Britt has to head out because she has a meeting, but she'll be back in another episode. Thank you for joining us.
Bye, Britt.
Bye, Britt. So another thing that like I want to make sure that we talk about too is that yes, you can lean on these people, and you have to remember when it is a good time for you to like unload on people. So like unloading on people, like you should still ask them consent and be like, hey, because that person might be going through a shit ton of shit too, but they might not be able to hold that onto their shoulders quite.
Like, do you have space for me right now?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
Especially if it's just like at a random flow and you're just trauma dumping on somebody that you just met, like that might not necessarily be the best thing.
Right.
But not saying don't do it, just be more cognizant of who you're like talking through.
Definitely. Well, and if you pay attention to people's body language, if they start looking around while you're talking or like backing up from you,
Yeah.
or they start turning their body away from you, that's a really good indication that they're trying to leave the conversation without being rude. So paying attention to people's body language is really important because you can pick up on things and then therefore you can maybe end the conversation without them feeling so trapped.
Yes. Agreed.
And then they'll have a better experience with you and be happy to see you the next time.
Yeah. And I guess that we should kind of talk about, okay, there's people that go through stuff constantly, right? But if you're that person that is just going to like if I went to Jenna every single day with a new complaint every single time that we talk, I know she would stop talking to me. Just because we are very selective with the type of energy that we surround ourselves with, which I think is admirable.
Yeah. I've met these people. We've all met these people, right? We have all met these people. And then I am able to carry compassion and empathy for you going through a hard time. And I'm going to offer solutions or I'm going to be an ear or whatever. But then at some point, I just get fed up. And I'm like, you know what? You're alive to feel the pain. Be grateful. Yeah. And then it starts to sound kind of rough around the edges. But it's like, hey, like enough is enough. Yeah. Like, even my dad tells me, he's like, even when you're negative, be positive.
Yeah.
Even when you're down, be positive about it. Like, what else are you going to do? Yeah. If you're in a hole, stop digging. Yeah.
Just chill.
Just chill. That's what I'm saying. Just sit in it for a minute. You know what I mean? You don't have to dig your hole deeper. Like,
Yeah.
just throw the damn shovel out for a freaking second and just let yourself be irritated, be frustrated, hate it, but keep it to yourself for a second, you know? Like, don't just constantly push that on other people. But at some point, you just kind of have to go, okay, enough's enough.
Is there like a common denominator, or is it just really by happenstance? Like, there's that too. And we're not saying don't ever talk to your friends. Like, that's
No,
that's
yeah.
not what we're
No,
saying.
no.
Saying, like, it's just whenever they're strangers.
Even my friends, like, if you come into like a conversation with me and it's woe is me, the world's against me, nothing's going right, I'm gonna find a way to be positive about it because that's who I am, which can be really freaking annoying for some people. I
Yeah.
get that. Because sometimes you just want to bitch and complain, you know?
Yeah.
But that's I think it's all about how somebody, it's like, hey, like, this is what happened, but I'm finding this to be a good thing.
Mhm.
Like, the good parts of it. But I think it's all on how, like, if it's a victim mentality.
Yeah. I think there's definitely, like, I have Britt who just left, and I could be like, hey, can I just bitch about something really quick? Cool. Great. She's already kind of prepared about it. She could also be like, hey, like, I'm busy right now. I'm in between meetings, but like, let me call you whenever I'm done.
Yep.
We've done that multiple times. We continue to do that, right, Mo? This is Britt's dog, by the way.
Mowgli.
And I think that there's something so powerful and behind friendships like that, where
His like tongue, yeah, is just like sticking out.
he doesn't have front teeth.
Do you know?
No, that's why it just falls out.
Oh, that's so cute. Sorry,
It's okay.
distracted.
I think there's something so powerful within friendships, and again, just figuring out positives through, like, the silver lining of your clouds, right?
Yes.
And it's not toxic positivity necessarily, because we talked about that in one of the other episodes too.
Yeah, like, you can genuinely say, like, hey, this sucks. You know what I mean? Like, when I went through like my extreme depressive isolating events, like, it sucked. But I learned so much during those times that I would go through it again.
Mm-hmm.
Because the person that came out of it is by far a way better version, and I could not have become this without that.
Mm-hmm.
It's just really hard to see in the moment.
Yeah.
It really is.
Obstacles are opportunities.
They really, yeah. But, you know, it's like I had despite being isolated in San Antonio, I still had a good, strong network of people around me, you know, where, you know, my sister was somebody I really leaned on. But nonetheless, really needed those times.
Another thing is that, like, whenever you are going through these isolating things, you might be like throwing everything at the kitchen sink of like trying to be better, trying to do better, like over restricting, punishing yourself, like by, you know, eating less and doing more cardio or whatever. But that could lead to like not getting to the physique that you're wanting.
Mm-hmm.
How do you think that works? Like, why do you think there are some things
holding us back? I mean, let's just get real for a second. Nobody knows what the F we're doing. Not a single person on this planet. And if you ever meet somebody that thinks that they know what they're doing, they're lying, you know, in my opinion. Like, there's general rules, like, regarding fitness, like eat your protein, restrict calories if you're trying to lose weight, walk, you know, lift weights, that kind of thing. But when you're going through like real life problems, nobody knows what we're doing, you know, and what works for me might not work for you again. You know what I mean? Yeah. Right. So sometimes, like, when you're going through certain things in your life and you're not progressing, maybe it's a good time to sit back and just kind of reflect. And if it's not working, try something new.
Yeah.
And sometimes that trying something new is something that is extremely outside of your comfort zone. Like having to wake up at 4:00 in the morning and go for a walk, or taking cold showers,
Or something that I want to just throw out there is getting a coach that will actually hold you accountable, because having a coach is very different than having a friend, like a friend that's just an accountability partner. Because come that stressful week, it's late on a Friday, you start venting, and your accountability partner says, let's go out for foods and drinks." And then that accountability partner isn't necessarily your accountability partner, but your coach will be very subjective or
Yes.
objective.
Yes. Yeah.
Be more objective about, okay, these are your goals. Why are these your goals? What can we do to actually get you there? And then they also have that unbiased eye of you're actually progressing.
Well, yeah. And the money, you investing in a coach is essentially paying for somebody to hold you accountable.
Yeah.
Also educate you and guide you. But a lot of us need that accountability in order to progress and move forward. Because, they keep you sharp.
Yeah.
And with friends, they don't keep you sharp because there's not that business aspect to it, and with a coach, if a coach calls you out, he's like, hey, he or she, hey, what the hell happened? Like, you have gotten a little bit sloppy, or looks like you've ate more cheat meals than I'm allowing.
Or maybe you went way too deep in that cheat.
Yes. Whatever the case may be, you're paying them to hold you accountable. Whereas if you have a friend and they start calling you out, now it can ruin a friendship.
Yeah.
Because some people don't like to be called out on their BS, which if you're not progressing in life and you are surrounded by people who are not calling you out.
If you're surrounded by yes men, all you're going to keep hearing is yes. And that yes isn't necessarily what you need to hear.
No, yes. Exactly. Yeah. So maybe you should pick some people that are going to
kick you in the butt.
Yeah.
I think that's something that I am the type of person that will do something for somebody else before I do it for myself. So I think we might have brushed on this in the last couple of episodes, or maybe I was just talking to you. I don't know. But I knew I wanted to do this podcast for a while. And as soon as you asked me, hey, do you want to do a podcast? I was like, yes, okay, I'm ready. I just made it happen. But if it was just me doing it for myself, and it wouldn't have happened for another probably 6 months to a year.
Right.
And so I think people being able to yes, you should have your why. I've always had my why of why I wanted to do this podcast, but having it tied to somebody else, an outlying factor, just made it so much more real. Obviously there's the trailblazers that we want to help. That is also an outside factor, which is the reason why we want to stay consistent. But whenever I know that you are here and you're not depending on it, but you're depending on me being consistent with it. Right. So I think that is something important. So to kind of just keep in mind, whether or not that's a physique goal or a business goal or hobbies,
Right. Yeah.
It's easy to.
Well, and likewise, you're expecting me to be here. Right. And so, I run a tight ship, so to speak, with my schedule. I'm very scheduled out. So we've come up with getting into our groove, and it's out of respect for one another's time. We're going to be here when we say we're going to be here. Granted, things happen.
Yeah.
Life happens, flat tires. I have kids, that kind of thing. But it's we're committed, because we're both in it.
Yeah. And this is the 5th episode. So, it's perfect.
We're rolling.
We're
Yeah.
rolling. Did you ever listen to Limp Bizkit?
Well, yeah.
I remember I was an intern at a marketing. It was actually a digital newspaper, and I was editing videos, and no surprise, right? But I was editing videos, and I had Limp Bizkit on in the background, and then my manager came by, and he's like, "Who listens to Limp Bizkit?" I was like, "I do. I don't care.
Who doesn't?"
Yeah. And then now all these people out of the woodworks are acting like they've liked Limp Bizkit the entire time, but I got made fun of.
You're clearly you do. You know who they are.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. You're not cool. But on that note, I think we covered everything. Really glad that we were able to kind of talk about Friday Flows a little bit more, introduce Britt. Britt isn't going to be at every single episode, but she'll pop in when she can, which is just super exciting, super fun, because we need more people. And then in January, we'll have some special guests, which I'm stoked about. Do you want to talk about just like a reminder of the events? Potentially.
We're still working out the final dates. Yeah, Friday Flow coming back up and posing seminars
and then the
branding. Yeah.
So make sure you follow us on Instagram at
The Muscle Mommy
and That Girl Squats and Trail.of.champions. We have a broadcast that's going to have some behind the scenes, some information that we aren't posting on our direct feed immediately. And then that will also have all of our like upcoming events first. Right.
Sounds good.
So until next time, we'll see you next time.
Thanks for tuning in.
And don't forget to hit that like and subscribe. Let us know if you have any comments, questions, concerns. We'll see you.